Hello, Internet, and welcome once again to the Free-to-Play cast brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things free-to-play related. This is episode 240. Holy shit. 240 of these things. We're recording on October 26th. You're watching it on the 27th or later, getting ready for Halloween, and we've got whales, and the loot boxes just won't go away. But then we got some good news for Troy, and then we got some interesting perspective from our friends at Grinding Gear Games. So we've got a lot to talk about, but first let's introduce the hosts. With me today, Mr. Jason Winter. How are you, sir?
I'm just doing one last check, because this morning we weren't sure we were going to have a whole lot of news today, and then stuff happened left and right.
Yes, it was
so
nice.
I'm just making sure nothing else happened.
Yeah, there were some late additions to the show notes.
All right, I think we're good. I think it's okay. I think Blizzard hasn't gone out of business yet.
Yeah, or bought somebody. So.
Yeah, right.
Or made WoW free to play.
Sure.
Also here, Mr. Troy Blackburn. What's up, Noob Fridge?
Man, I tried to make something trend on Twitter this past weekend, and it didn't really work out for me. And in fact, it worked in the complete opposite direction, apparently. Hashtag let blessed die. Didn't work out so well for me, so we'll talk about that.
Well, we mentioned it briefly last week because we were amazed that they were going to TwitchCon and had stuff to show, but it got a little crazier just a day after that free-to-play cast went live on the Bless front. But we got other things to talk about first, so let's get started with the news. So the never-ending topic of loot boxes just won't die. 2 shows ago, we went in-depth with our opinions, which you all kind of knew we weren't in favor of them from previous shows and comments we had made, but we took the opportunity to go just in-depth on what we didn't like about them, why, where they might be used well, and we had a hard time coming up with solutions for that one. Then last week, we dove into your viewer feedback and did quite a bit of your thoughts, pro and anti-loot box and everything. And we thought, okay, everybody was talking about loot boxes. That kind of was brought on by an onslaught of pay-to-play games or buy-to-play games. All of a sudden, over the last year or so, with Overwatch and other titles, Destiny 2 to a certain extent, and the big one was, of course, Shadow of War from Warner Brothers, which, by the way, hey, DLC is available for pre-order. Jesus Christ, are you kidding me?
It's a season pass, not just DLC. Yeah.
You can get the rest of the orc tribes that they left out of the game.
Yeah, but if you bought the $100 version, you're good already. Okay. A la Destiny 2, doing the same thing. Anyway, so we thought, all right, we said our piece. We put a lot of time in last week with the viewers saying their piece. We're done with this topic, right? And
Totally.
Jason, that's not what happened, because every news...
We didn't single-handedly kill loot boxes?
Yeah, we didn't... they didn't remove them from games. It didn't happen. But we thought, okay, at least we've said our piece. We're done. We can move on. But the hype train surrounding loot boxes continues to gain steam from all kinds of other very obvious angles that we talked about in the free-to-play cast. So initially it was like this deluge of just loot boxes suck content on a bunch of sites. We did our free-to-play cast, spoke our piece. I don't think we said anything terribly original. We may have echoed somebody else's thoughts or things that were generally out there.
Please watch our podcast. We say nothing terribly original. That's our sales pitch.
That's not what I meant, Jason. That's not what I meant. But, we generally just gave our personal perspective on it. So then, over the last week or so, we've seen more and more articles now focusing on interviewing developers and what they have to say about them, which, of course, hey, they're in favor. They take the attitude of, if you don't want them, don't buy them, which we've already explained from our viewpoint what's wrong with that attitude. Then I saw interviews with people that actually lobby or help create legislation, or particularly one interesting one I saw was gambling oversight people weighing in on their opinion, which I thought was really interesting. But the one opinion that you really didn't see were people that just spend a fortune on these things. But, Jason, we then got that. We then got... Sort of.
I mean, you got someone who spends a lot of money on free-to-play games. Or it's not even just free-to-play. I guess it was mostly a free-to-play game, but it probably were other things mixed in there too.
Yeah.
And he even admits, he's like, yeah, I play pay-to-win stuff. I spend money out so I can get to the top of the leaderboards. Yeah, whatever. You know, I got the money. I'm going to do it. But then this guy, and this was an interview on Eurogamer with a guy who goes by the name Sligari, so whatever, I'll call him that.
And Eurogamer, by the way, calls him a whale. I kind of disagree with that, and even he does to a certain extent based on the numbers.
He calls himself a dolphin. He says he knows people who spent like a lot more than he has. His numbers are described about $20,000 over 5 years.
Okay. Break that down. That's about $76 a week. Okay. Which to me is kind of, I probably spend about $70 to $80 per week on games for most weeks, not every week, but a new release here on a console, that's $50 or $60 right there, and then maybe I grab something on Steam or buy a mount from Final Fantasy's Cash Shop or whatever. So to me, whale really didn't apply in this case, but I did appreciate this perspective because it is a whale that is going after exactly those things, not just somebody that spent, like me, that maybe spends a lot of money on gaming in general.
Right. And he said about $5,000. That's what he figures was the most he spent on any one game. He spent on Atlantica Online. Like I said, buying this sort of pay to win or the kind of questionable stuff, whatever. But then when they added loot boxes, he called it a disgusting twist of events, and his moral fiber got involved, and he quit the game. He even tried to charge back the developer and wound up getting his account banned because of it.
Yeah,
by the way, kids, if you want to continue playing your games, don't do chargebacks because that will get you banned.
Oh yeah. I can't imagine why a company that's received $10,000 from you might not want to see a chargeback.
Only 5,000, wasn't it? And I think he said it was only on like the loot boxes he bought. So yeah, not like his whole like 4 years, or however long he played the game. So, but still, even if it's just a couple hundred or whatever, it's not going to go well. But that was when he got offended, is when Atlantica Online added loot boxes.
And that's what I find hysterical about this interview, Troy. This is a guy that is like, oh, pay to win, yeah, I don't care, whatever. I'll buy the gear, I'll buy the boosts, I'll buy this, I'll buy my way through building something much faster just so I can crush the competition. Loot boxes? Get the hell out of here with that unethical practice.
His moral fiber, I love that quote because he's okay with the pay to win. His moral fiber doesn't mind buying his way to being one of the more powerful people on his server or whatever. But when he doesn't get the shit he paid for, which I mean we all feel, right? But the quote of the moral fiber when it comes to loot boxes opposed to games that he obviously plays that obviously have pay to win elements, that was hilarious to me. That one made me giggle on the inside and the outside a little bit.
Yeah, I found that kind of funny, first off. I also thought, Jason, it was cool that Eurogamer did ask a question that Jason and I have philosophically, we agree on, but have batted it back and forth before, too, on would you put something like Magic the Gathering card packs in the same category as loot boxes? Because overall, they have the same type of behavior. Random box, you may get crap, you may get good, you may spend $3 and get 8 cents worth of cards, you may spend $3 and get a $400 exceedingly rare card. And they put this question to Mr. Dolphin, and Mr. Dolphin said, yeah, kind of, but he also elaborated, and the way he elaborated kind of deleted the yeah, kind of, for me.
Yeah, and he says he's played a lot of Magic, so he's familiar with that. He played a lot of collectible games, so he knows all that stuff. And he says, so what did he say? He says, yeah, kind of. There are some things to say about that, though. The question was, would you put Magic the Gathering card packs in the same category as loot boxes? And he says there are some things to say about that. It's really clear what the odds are every time you open a pack of cards. You know exactly what you should be expecting to get. Now they break that down. So, for example, in a 200-card set, there may be 40 rare cards. And he just goes into the math of how, he can figure out, how much he needs, how much he's going to buy or whatever. So he does say that, it's kind of like gambling, but at least he knows going in what the odds are going to be. So he kind of isn't as hostile to it. Doesn't affect his moral fiber in the same way.
Yeah, but that's almost the exact same argument the developers use to justify loot boxes. Yeah, they don't print the odds per se, but they say, well, monetary value, you're still getting, monetary value worth whatever you put into this loot box. That's the exact same argument they use, minus the giving us the exact odds over here, at least.
Yeah, and I kind of disagree with the assertion that he's making that you know the odds.
Yeah.
No, you don't. What you know is that,
Actually, you tend to. They usually print those. They usually make those known.
No,
here's the Magic and the other big games.
No. Here's what you know. Typically on card packs nowadays, you know that you're going to get X number of either, like the top 2 rarities, 1 of these, 5 of this rarity, and then 10 of this rarity for a full 16 card pack. I'm just making up numbers for a 16 card pack. So you don't know that you're going to get a more valuable card. You know the rarities within the set. And I would argue that okay, I kind of see where he's going there. I would appreciate if loot boxes did that more, right? Here's a list of the super rare 5 things that you could get. Here's a list of the 40 things that are a little less rare that you could get. Here's the list of 200 common things that you'll get at least 10 of in this loot box. And if they took that a step further and said, we'll guarantee 10 and 5 and 1 of each of these categories. Now, what they are, we don't know. That's the random element. I think there would be less of a bad taste in my mouth. So as far as that goes, I kind of agree with him there, that if loot boxes followed that formula, I would have a little more, okay, you know. I'm guaranteed 1 of these 5 things. I may have 7 of them already, but I'm guaranteed to get 1. And that's where the loot boxes take the extra step that I think makes it too far, is not only are we not going to show you what's available, how many of things are available, we're not going to guarantee you any type of rarity or number of... I've seen loot boxes that even the number of things in them varies, Troy. I'll open 1 and get 3 things. I'll open 1 and get 5.
But that $3 you spend on that loot box, that XP potion you got's totally worth $3, Mike.
Right. That's the other thing, too, that, Jason, you and I have talked about. When you talk about physical card games, there, like it or not, there is an actual dollar monetary value. It may be 8 cents on one card or $7,000 on another card, but there is an actual monetary value that is not just arbitrarily made up by Wizards of the Coast.
Well, that's actually an interesting point, is that I read something else somewhere just in the last week or two. I didn't know this was the case, but the writer of the article or whatever I saw said that Wizards of the Coast does not acknowledge there's a secondary market for Magic cards.
And you know what? That's even better. That's even better.
When I worked for a game company, I worked for a card game company, someone would ask me, what's this card worth? The answer, and I wouldn't say, I'd say it is whatever someone would pay for it. I didn't say there isn't the card, you can't go to the card shop and get money for it. If pressed, I might have said, well, if you look at this price guide in Scry or whatever, it says $20. But I would never, we didn't set the prices, so, it's on some level it is kind of arbitrary, but it's nothing we, set.
Exactly.
So at the very least you have that much kind of a legal loophole or whatever. But yeah.
And to Troy's point that I kind of elaborated on, it's not Wizard of the Coast deciding that value, right?
Right.
What happens with the loot box is that Blizzard says this is worth $10. Really? Okay. Because there's no secondary market that I can compare supply and demand to, and Jason's not going to pay $10 anymore, but he's going to pay $6 because he can get it from 700 different people, or maybe he's going to pay $15 now, like you used to do with Scry Magazine or Beckett or any of those guys in the heyday.
But again, the point is that it's only one direction is the way the money flows. Money flows from you to Blizzard. Technically, I think they claim that their objects do not have any monetary value. Well, loot box itself, you pay $3, $5, whatever for it. But the thing you get out of it does not have a monetary value, and that's
come on.
Well, can you?
How many founders? How many founders packs and things like that have you seen gone on sale where they say that we're going to give this to you for $90, but it's really $130 value?
But the items you get out of your loot box, you can't sell your XP potion for money. You cannot get money for that.
No, you can't.
No, but you can't.
But you
money
can
for that XP potion directly.
in a lot of those shops. Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Is that they are by themselves assigning a monetary value to it. It may not be worth $3, but they are selling it by itself for $3, so in their minds it is worth $3. I can't sell it to you for that $3. Blizzard and Blizzard's
that's non-random loot you're talking.
Right.
When I get it out of the
But what I'm talking about is a lot of the loot boxes are made up of those types of things. You can take your chance at getting a skin, or you could buy this skin directly for $8. Troy, that's a big thing with MOBAs an awful lot.
Yeah, absolutely. You've seen several games go that direction where you've got years of established, this is what a new skin is typically worth, depending on what tier it is. You can tell looking at the skin how much it's going to run, and then they go to throwing them in loot boxes. How is there not a monetary value attached to that? You've got years of spending money directly for those skins, and when those types of skins get put in those loot boxes, you know how much money you spent in those in the past. There is a monetary value, whether they want to say, oh, well, we didn't say this one's worth $20 or whatever a skin's worth nowadays. But for the past 6 years, I've been spending $10, $15 on this type of skin.
You know what they're going to do, though, if there ever was a law that required you to match those up? The thing you get in the loot box is going to have like 1 pixel different. Now, it's not the exact same thing that goes for $10 in the shop. It has no value. It's a completely different thing.
Recolors. Exactly this is like, it's not loot box related, but like WoW's mount recolor. This is a totally new mount.
Right.
It's the same one you have 13 of, but this one's green.
And I mean, that practice goes far beyond loot boxes, what we're talking about here. We're just bringing it up in the context of the discussion here. But I mean, that goes all the way to even just the top level monetization, right? Nothing's ever expressed in euros or dollars. It's always expressed in some terms of a third currency, so you can't really mentally quickly figure out exactly how much you're spending. So yeah, I thought it was interesting at the end of the day that somebody that spends $20,000 over 5 years, yeah, you may agree with me that that's not a ton of money, but if you put it in the context of predominantly, according to him, mobile games, I think that is quite a bit of money when you start talking about predominantly mobile games. As soon as you brought up loot boxes, even that type of person was like, nope, I'm out.
He actually talks about the children, too. So he's concerned about the children.
Won't someone think of the children?
If we can exercise that going forward, then it will be a boon to our children. He learned the value. We said he learned the value of money, the importance of it. So exercise that knowledge going forward, and it'll be a boon to the children.
I like when he talks about his wife. Did you read that part?
Hang on.
His wife, now his wife, his girlfriend at a time at one point, has it had any negative effects on your life with partners, etc.? My girlfriend, now wife at the time, was like, you're spending how much on this? And that's disgusting. I explained to her she plays mobile games too. Who says you can't spend money on it if you like it? And I totally get that approach. That was not... My beef is not blasting the people that buy these things. If you have the dispensable income and it's a game you enjoy, to me, go ahead. You want to spend $500 because you have that disposable income on a game for meaningless pixel trinkets, you can turn around and tell me that these 3 card binders here are just meaningless pieces of card stock, or these 6 binders. And I'm going to tell you, no, that's my absolute favorite. It's my Final Fantasy trading card game collection. I have every card, blah, 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 blah. Fine. We spent money on things we like. I don't care. You want to do that. Mine is when the developers have the nerve to say, Troy, well, if you don't like it, don't buy them. They're just cosmetic. When they're pouring thousands of dollars into keeping legislation off the board, thousands of dollars into the psychological ploys to almost force you into that scenario.
That's what, and in patenting ways to make you feel like you're left out.
Yeah, hey,
like Blizzard.
You know what?
Like Activision.
Patenting ways is a funny thing to mention, because doesn't Activision now have a bizarre little patent, Jason?
Yeah, it's a patent for matchmaking, I believe, that tries to match. Oh, well, that's
good. Matchmaking's always good, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody complains about
Lawbreakers would love matchmaking.
They'd love players to have matches with. Oh, wait, we're supposed to, like, F off. So, anyway.
F off, Jason. Come on.
Yeah, their matchmaking will match players with cool cash shop gear against players who don't have it. So the players who don't have it will get their butts kicked by the super glowy gun of awesome and say, hey, I should buy that.
Here's the good news. Those of us who play online competitive games, how often do you really get matched with people your skill level anyways?
No,
right.
I'm
either getting face rolled or up against some people who obviously have no business being in the same game with me, and I'm going, what is happening here?
No, now that it can be monetized, matchmaking will work. It will absolutely 100% work, because now it can be monetized. They also went forward. Bungie was real quick to say, whoa, whoa, this is not in Destiny 2. This is not in Destiny 2. P.S. This is not in Destiny 2.
We were going to keep this a secret and just kind of do it without you guys knowing.
Well,
pesky folks who want to go look at patent files.
Well, to be fair, they were granted the patent at a really unfortunate time. It was something they applied for like years ago, like in 2013, 2014-ish, but they just got granted it as Destiny 2 came out of the gates launching and was getting its shaders blowback and everything. So it was really unfortunate time to be awarded the patent for Activision, particularly for Bungie, but they were real quick to say, no. You know what, though? I will say I'm glad EA didn't get it. That's right. Or Warner Brothers at this point.
Yeah, EA probably has it. They just didn't bother patenting it. They're just like, screw it, just make it happen. Yeah. Like, it's probably already a thing.
Well, if you want to check out the rest of what the Whale had to say, we've got a mini article on MMO Bomb for you to take a look at. It's through an interview done by Eurogamer, to give full credit, written by Vic Hood. I thought it was a great little read, particularly given that we had spent so much time on the 2 previous shows on the topic. This was a take that I don't know anybody that spends that kind of money. I couldn't reach out and ask them to be on the show. So thank you to Eurogamer, and thank our Dolphin friend for being kind of honest about it, even if it made us go, what? Huh? On to other news. Breakaway. Do you remember that, Troy? Breakaway?
Yes, a little bit, actually. It actually looked really interesting, some of the early footage I saw.
I played it. So yeah, that's the Amazon esport from the Amazon Amazon Games.
Like
It's
right
from the
South
Amazon.
America.
It came on out. The Amazon Game Studios, Breakaway, their little esports competition, competitive game that when we first heard it announced a while ago, when Amazon Game Studio all of a sudden came out of nowhere and said, hey, we're working on Breakaway, we're working on a sandbox MMO, we're working on this. By the way, now we've hired John Smedley, now we've hired all these people. Breakaway, we saw ads on Facebook that it was going to be free to play. They were quickly taken down. We asked for confirmation, and they wouldn't give it. And then Jason might have gotten half a confirmation that was then retracted. And then I've sent literally, because I've been playing in their alpha, 4 emails in the last month alone, 1 a week for the last 4 weeks, just saying, can I get an update on this? We're covering it on our site under the assumption that it's free to play because of the game style it is. Oh, and by the way, we saw your ads before you yanked them. No reply. And I thought that was a little weird. Not even a, hey, we're not ready to talk about it yet, Troy. But now, maybe, not so weird. Because Amazon Game Studios apparently had a little announcement on this one, and it wasn't good news for people looking for Breakaway, Troy.
Yeah, the rumors initially started just flat-out rumors that they were just done. And they were just going to walk away from the game and leave it. Then they come back and sort of clarified, and from Amazon, their take on it right now is, we've listened to a ton of player feedback, and we're going to go in and make adjustments, and it's going to take some time, and we're going to take our time and try to do it right. Is sort of the way they came back with that, and it just sounds, I don't know, with the initial rumors that it was done, it sounds like a little bit of a PR cover-up. That they, to me, just opinion here, that they really are thinking about shuttering this. And what do we got at this point? It sounds like, just from years of experience, 50-50 shot at best of this thing actually ever coming back.
Jason, prediction on the line right now. Does it ever see the light of day? Or is it done?
I think it does, but I think it might be a while, and maybe one of their other games is going to come out first.
I think it's done.
Okay.
Troy?
Yeah, I think it's done too. I think they hit a point somewhere along the way where they realized either A, we're not going to make money in an overly crowded market, especially with online competitive games. We see this all the time and we'll talk about, one here in just a second, but there's room for like the one big one and then maybe a secondary one that comes in a small niche, whether it be free to play, buy to play, a little different. Then after that, it gets crowded. And this game was going to, even with some of its unique aspects, was stepping into a crowded genre. So probably done.
Let me ask you this, from a fledgling game studio company, guys, right? This was their first, or slated to be what we anticipate to be the first release of their library, based on the other things they said and how far along the other projects were in development. This was looking to be Amazon Game Studios' first release. Does this look good or bad on a fledgling company? And Amazon's not hurting for money, so I'm not talking about financially. I'm talking about quality-wise and dependability-wise. Does this look good or bad for them on your first project out of the gate got yanked and may not see the light of day, maybe will, maybe won't, we don't know? Or does it reflect on them in a positive way on, hey, even though they have a ton of money, they looked at this and said, this isn't going to do what we want it to do, either gameplay-wise, finance-wise. We have no idea why the decision was actually made, and they halted it and said, let's refocus elsewhere. What do you think? Is it good PR, bad PR on a studio in their first game getting this kind of treatment, Troy?
I think as far as long as this game was to a point where it was as playable as it was, this looks terrible, especially coming from a company backed by Amazon, owned by Amazon, run by Amazon, Amazon's baby. This is, we're going to get into gaming. I would have thought that their first game would have got pushed out no matter what, just so they can say, hey, look, this is our first complete game. And if it didn't work out, it didn't work out. We'll move on to the next thing from there. So to me, for this game to be as far along as it was, it looks horrible that it's going into quote unquote hiatus, listening to the players. And I guess by listening to the players, they're listening to the fact that it sounds like maybe nobody wanted to play the game.
Jason?
How was the matchmaking? How were the queue times in the alpha you're playing?
You know
How
what?
are the loot boxes, Mike?
The queue times, and I don't even know how much of this I'm allowed to talk about. Like, if it's
Oh,
on
that's right. This was
hiatus.
all NDA and
It's
stuff,
on
maybe.
hiatus
I don't
now.
know.
What are they
so-
going to
Yeah,
do?
okay.
Ban you from the game?
The matchmaking wasn't bad. I mean, they did limited times because it was alpha, so generally it forced, what you'd expect. Everybody on
Only
at the exact
4v4
same
means
time.
you don't have
Yeah.
a whole lot of.
Yeah, I didn't have any
10.
problems with matchmaking, except this was weird thing. I kept getting paired up with these people that had really awesome gear, and I really wanted to know where to get that gear. But I just couldn't find out where they got that gear. I wish somebody had a system. Go ahead, Jason, your thought. Good or bad
but yeah,
PR?
I think it's bad because it's like Troy said, I would call them fledgling, but they spent a lot of money not only on the marketing for this when they had that big reveal last year, but all the people they've been bringing in. I talk about Kim Swift from Portal, the Far Cry 2 director Clint Hawking. I know that Colin Johansson from Guild Wars 2 from ArenaNet. John Smedley's working on something different from those three, so they have a lot of big names. They're definitely spending a lot of money on. So at some point you got to wonder. There's someone at Amazon's going to wonder, why are we paying these people so much? What are they producing that's worth this kind of money? So, yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised if there was a little turnover at some point before they actually get some playable game out, whether Breakaway or one of their other titles.
Yeah, so we still have New World to look forward to. That's their kind of open world. The one I think most of us were the most interested in was the New World massively multiplayer sandbox type game. So we still have that to look forward to. Not a lot of news. And then I'm stunned that the name of this one hasn't changed yet. I thought they were going to change this pretty quickly because it's a third-person, last man standing, humans against aliens, weapons, combat type thing called Crucible, and that is Destiny's PvP mode.
Well, you know what I'm thinking.
So
I think it is.
I thought they would have changed that name a long time ago. Go ahead, Jason.
Oh, you're saying Crucible is the name of their PvP thing?
No, Crucible is the name of Amazon's game, the third game that they're working on. But Crucible is also Destiny's PvP is called the Crucible.
Oh, okay, that's what I meant. They have the same title. But yeah. I mean, the issue I have there is they announced this stuff like it was like October, November of last year.
Yep.
Well, okay, there were still some Battle Royale games coming around and getting in, whatever. And then we have Battlegrounds, which is, here. And even Fortnite, even Battle Royale is doing really well. So, I mean, they'll probably think they have to go back to the drawing board on that as well to compete with those two, juggernauts now, so...
So good luck to them. We're still watching for New World. I don't know how interested I am personally in Crucible, although I like Destiny's Crucible, but that's because it's a little more casual, I guess. I don't know. Troy, we're going to turn this one over to you, because I know you are stunned and shocked by this. You are stunned and shocked by this, because you and I had the exact same opinion on this one in the first look video for it. We both said, it needs a lot of polish, but we have faith in the company. Maybe that faith was misplaced, Because guess what happened today, Troy?
Oh, they've decided that they're done. Closed beta did not attract enough players, they say, which is always a very interesting
Here's what's
statement
great.
to me,
We
right?
haven't mentioned the game name yet or the company, so nobody knows what we're talking about. I tried to, like, mysteriously build it up and pass it off to you, and then you were like, well, I'm just going to keep the mystery going, and it doesn't work if we do it that way. We're talking about The Amazing Eternals by Digital Extremes. Goodbye, sayonara, see you later, Troy.
Yeah, this is one that I did the first look on, and I enjoyed it. We talked a lot about, and you used the word, and I used the word in my review, the polish word, and you know, I tried to go on and explain some of what I meant by that. But there were some good things there. There was a lot of interesting things that had me excited for the game. The setting, that retro sci-fi setting, man. The maps didn't match up with the characters, but the characters and the feel and sort of the music and the theme was all fantastic. And you know, I think we even talked about on the show after I did the first look. You know, how is this going to compete in the marketplace so dominated by Overwatch? And then Paladins comes in a strong second place. You know, how are they going to handle that? And I guess it turns out they're not going to handle that. They're just going to walk away from it. So it's unfortunate. I always hate to hear, well, closed beta didn't attract enough players. I'm like, It was closed beta. You were somewhat in control of, or a lot of in control of how many players came in to play it. And there's this like perception of closed beta for a lot of folks are just like, I'm going to wait, you know, maybe at least open beta to try it out and jump in. It's kind of like the games. And the second worst thing I hate is the open betas that are still betas. Well, there wasn't enough monetary income coming in, so we're going to shut it down. Like, you didn't even launch a game. You expect people to just pour all their money into something that's still called a beta. But no, this was a game that I was looking forward to. And I'm with you on the
closed portion because you had to buy something. They wanted you to buy something to get into these. So to sit there and say, well, there wasn't enough support, well, you put a paywall there, and you told people that your game was going to be free to play, and the people that didn't want to pay said, I'll just wait till it's free to play to check it out, and now you're holding that against your count. Jason, I think what they did do right, though, being Digital Extremes, was not do what Amazon did with Breakaway. They were kind of brutally honest with this in their post. They said, we worked hard to make a game that we're proud to say was shaping up to have great potential. However, we took an honest look at the current gaming landscape, to Troy's point, and how the game was performing in closed beta. Unfortunately, the game wasn't attracting players fast enough to support a viable matchmaking player base with the current game design direction, which is the lifeblood of this type of game. So with heavy hearts, we're taking a step back to reevaluate the design and may revisit our intrepid heroes in the future.
So they're not saying they're shutting it down. They talk about hitting the pause button on development. So
yeah, that's what Amazon said.
Just saying, well, yeah, I know in a slightly different way. And like these were like half an hour apart, these announcements. So it was like, whoa. But yeah, I mean, I think it's like you said, you know, when you're in closed beta, you're not drawing in that many people. That's how it is when you're not making that, when you're having to charge people to get in. They just want to wait for the open beta or the free version or whatever. So you just got to think there's a little more to it than that we're maybe not hearing, or maybe the numbers were really, really terrible. Who knows?
Well, and here's what makes me think, Troy, that we don't see this again. Although they did start by saying we're hitting the pause button, I think this is a full stop, and it's based on this sentence here. Actually, we decided to hit the pause button development at this time. Players who bought into the Founders Program will be offered refunds over a 72-hour period starting today. We'll keep the servers up until midnight on November 2nd. When the company starts giving that money back, I think that's more a good faith move because we don't intend to touch this.
Yeah, they're just trying to soften the blow. They didn't want to just flat out, oh, we're done, and then everybody panics. What about this money I spent? They're just trying to soften the blow so they could deliver you're going to get your money back. We're offering refunds. Don't freak out. And then once they get everybody their money back and everybody has that opportunity to not freak out, then they can be like, yeah, it's gone and it's not really coming back. Or they probably don't even mention it, just not ever come back. It just don't ever come back. This one to me sounds like 100% solid dead. Like the Amazon one, 50-50 to me. This one sounds dead.
Yeah. They should have kept the servers on for a while longer and then said they launched and then shut it down a while later, just like Landmark. They didn't have to give refunds. Right?
So you have until November 2nd to play. I'm just going to skip right over that. By the way, you know, maybe this supports the shutdown. I'm going to let you just know that we posted an Amazing Eternals giveaway on October 3rd. So over 3 weeks ago. We still have keys on that giveaway. And we can't keep keys in for like 24 hours on most games. So, and Jason, I know this isn't the show notes, but I'm going to give you a second because I know it's killing you, and I know you want to talk about it, and I know you want to say something about it, and I'm going to segue into it this way. In the PC Games article about the Amazing Eternals closing, even in that article, they somehow managed to mention Lawbreakers.
Yeah, speaking of games that are in basically paid early access before they go free to play.
I'm going to give you 30 seconds of just you, because I know you want to talk about something Cliffy B said. Go.
Cliffy B told the media to F off, basically, because we're all saying bad things about his game that, you know, just by looking at it, isn't doing so hot. But, you know, we got to get those clicks. Yeah, and I'm gonna be a little generous, a little gracious. I thought Lawbreakers looked kind of cool. It's not my kind of thing. Too fast paced. Not my deal. I thought it looked okay. But man, since it's launched, it's just been one bad thing after another, and that's not really anybody's fault except Boss Keys. So,
I'm with you. I thought the game looked cool. I watch it. I've watched people play it. But I'm like you. It's higher on the first-person shooter skill curve than I have the ability to sit and play and enjoy, because I'm not going to sink as much time into it as I need to become proficient at it. I enjoy watching it. I think it's visually nice. I think the matches look fun, but I wasn't going to spend money on it because it's above my skill curve for the time I have to invest in it. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot, and that may sound funny to say, but I think a lot of people fell right into that bucket of I don't have enough time to get really good at this, and this is one that you need to sink a lot of time into to get good at. Or have played these types of games for decades and decades, and I haven't played them well for decades and decades enough, Troy, to just say, yeah, I could jump into that. I could be adequate at best, and so I'm not going to pay for a game that is PvP only to sit there and feel adequate.
You know, it's funny you guys say, that looked cool, that Lawbreakers looked cool. As a guy who, plays with a group of folks who play all the MOBAs and all the shooters, at least try them. Like, we don't play them all constantly. We at least try them out. I think Lawbreakers got discussed in our group one time, and I don't think any of us ever actually bothered giving it a shot. There's too many other games that we either A, have already paid for, or B, play for free and enjoy. There was just no need for it.
All right, to finish up and telling the media to F off. Stupid.
You stay classy. You stay classy, bro.
Stupid. So I gave Jason 30 seconds. I'm going to give Troy 30 seconds, and I'm sure he's going to go over, and I'm going to have to cut him off, and he's just going to keep going. I mean, I can already see how this is going to go. But I'll give you your time, too. Bless Online. We thought it was weird it was going to TwitchCon. We thought it was funny. We poked a joke last week. We even mentioned Troy. We should tell him this just to make him mad. Given his rant a few weeks ago about Bless. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Bless for a while now, again, into 2018, because it's confirmed it's going to launch on Steam in 2018. The Bless team posted that on the Steam Bless Online Community Hub. And the question was, will this mean Bless Online is coming to Steam? Is it being released globally? The answer to both questions are a resounding yes. We don't have a date. We don't have any new publishers. After Area Games backed out here, we knew they were going to TwitchCon. It's coming out on Steam. Troy, your 30 seconds starts now.
I'm okay with this. Let it happen. Let it happen. No, let it happen. Prove me right. Prove me 100% right. Just ignore the fact that every bit of news for Bless Online from this past year at least has been nothing but an absolute train wreck. Ignore that completely. Let the sucker go to Steam. Let it get its initial influx of players, because they're all going to jump in because, ooh, this Korean import game is so pretty. It's always so pretty. Get in there. Figure out the kind of grind-fast freaking pay-to-win bullcrap that this game really is going to be, and then 90% of you can go away and move on to the next game and be disappointed like you're going to be, like you are every time. And then the 6 of you, the whole entire 6 of you who still play this game in 3 months.
That's been 30 seconds.
Comments on YouTube and tell me what a great game it is, all 6 of you who still play. So yes, welcome to Steam, Bless Online. I love being right.
Are you, oh, you're done?
I'm done.
Well said, sir. Well said.
Even I can't manage that level of rage, mostly because it's kind of indifferent about the game right now. So.
It's so pretty. It's so pretty.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Just like every other game that comes in from
it has races and classes and dungeons.
Ooh, look out. And kill 10 rats quests and fetch quests over and over and over and over. I can't wait for that. That's going to be so exciting. I bet the cash shop is going to have 10,000 loot boxes.
I know where I'm assigning the first look. All right.
You know what you're going to get if you do. I'm more than happy to accept it.
Oh, no.
You know
we're doing that together because I'm going to sit there while playing the game with you telling you why it's the greatest thing ever, even if I hate it. Even if I hate it, just to torment the shit out of you during that first look video.
My blood pressure is going to be sky high.
Nothing really to cover here, but I did want to call a little attention to it. Path of Exile, we talk a lot about Path of Exile and, you know, how well it does, and I thought it was really interesting. The community manager kind of wrote a little love letter to the game and the community because the game just celebrated its 4th anniversary, and it's very long. I mean, you have to be somewhat interested in Path of Exile to read it, but I think there's going to be an audience of MMO bombers out there that even if you're not into Path of Exile, may want to read it because it does talk about the development and how the team thought at some points this wasn't even going to get off the ground. And it was a really interesting read, not being incredibly invested in Path of Exile. So if you are, even better, go check it out. I thought it was an interesting piece. They seemed genuinely humble about it, Jason, given its staggering success, and appreciative of having come through what they kind of detail as a really incredible journey.
So what I looked through, though, after I didn't read all of it because it's really long, to be honest.
It is.
TLDR. But what I did is I then looked at the comments, looked at a couple pages worth of the comments on it. Because first of all, you got this game that, you know, it's really big, a lot of people play it, and you got the community manager posting about it. People, if they're going to scream in comments, it's going to be how crappy the game is and how stupid the community manager is. And they didn't do that. I looked through a few pages of it, just kept looking for the insults and the crap, and I'm like, God, everybody loves this.
Yeah.
How even did they do this? But yeah, I mean, it's really amazing they've done that well. I haven't managed to, like, piss off half their player base in the process over 4 years.
You know, it's interesting because that's not the first game developer to sort of build up that level of trust and loyalty and love from their player base. But they're the ones that's held onto it the longest that I've ever seen. Like, they still maintain that to this day, the player base and the trust that they're going to do the right thing, and they continue to do the right thing, the things that their players want. I mean, how many times have we seen companies like, let's just throw a name out there, Tryon Worlds, had all the love and the trust and the loyalty from the player base that any company could ever have.
And they had it after the free-to-play conversion.
Yes,
they had it after the conversion because they did the conversion right, and we talked about it all the time. This is how it's supposed to be done. We talked about it here and on Game Breaker. They're doing this right. They're doing this right, and then
Turbine was the same way after low drone BDO.
Yeah. All right, let's slide over to the weekly bombs. Mine's easy, so I'll go first. I'm gonna give a dub bomb to Halloween. Easily my favorite holiday. I love Halloween. Go ahead, Jason.
I'm going to give a dub bomb to the thing I just got in the mail like an hour ago, my new AP style book. Finally got a 2017 version. It's been so long.
So tell me how esports is supposed to be written in article form.
So esports and email do not have hyphens, but all other E words do, like e-commerce or e whatever. All right?
Okay.
So everyone knows. I'm going to go back on our old articles. I'm going to search in our system for E-sports. I'm going to change every damn one of them.
And it's never small E, capital S.
Oh, good Lord, no. eBay is the only entity that does that. If you put a capital letter in there, I will come to your house and punch you in the head.
Go ahead, Troy.
I'm going to look at my notes. I'm going to give an A-bomb to the folks running the Elysium project, formerly known as Nostalrius. That's the WoW emulator. Yeah. They've got several folks high up on that who are stepping down due to some underhanded going-ons behind the scenes that we're not really going to go into. You can look it up. You can find it. There's some dirty stuff going on. And I mean, who would have thought that a group of folks who basically steal a game and run an illegal server that's been shut down numerous times would do something not on the up and up. Here's my shocked face.
Jason, you're the positive one on this week's show.
You wanted the bomb too.
No, you're the positive. I'm talking about Troy, man. He's totally taken over for winter.
Yeah.
From the viewers, Lagwin1980 says, going to give a massive A-bomb to Activision for its recent patent on a matchmaking system, which we talked about earlier, which, if I understood it right, has them purposely manipulating matchmaking to place you in games with people who've spent a lot on transactions as a way to, microtransactions, to try and get you to buy them. P.S. I wonder how many times Magic died doing that jumping challenge, given how often he dies when height is involved.
I haven't done that yet. I forgot about that. I haven't tried.
I died a lot. It was hard, but I beat it. Jason's died more and hasn't. Shut up, Lagwin. Go ahead, Jason.
Plants. In general, lowercase the names of plants, but capitalize proper nouns. Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
No,
Okay.
the show notes.
Okay, show notes, sorry. Penlion says an A-bomb to Twin Saga for releasing content above level cap. New dungeon, Foreboding Garden, is for level 70 to 80, or so we were told by a GM in the preview. Current level cap is 70. It did not change when a new patch released. What?
That's amazing.
He also continues, do not do mystery boxes or loot boxes. Ones I hate the most drop in the game. You must buy a key to open.
Never would.
Just clear up your inventory till you throw them away. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's some really hard content, man. I can't beat it. Go ahead, Troy.
I want a series of videos on Facebook where you just post like 30-second videos of Jason reading like one segment at a time out of his AP style book. I would watch and thumbs up and share.
Or like the YouTube pronunciation videos. Could you imagine that job? Oh my God. If you know what I'm talking about, they're like just 15 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, Kobayashi. And that's it. 15, 17 seconds, they say. Could you imagine recording that? Oh my God, that would suck.
If it brings in the money, I'll do it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's like I appreciate good voices reading Audible books, but then I sit there and think about, Jesus, they sat here and read that entire book into a microphone and probably had to do multiple takes of a lot of it. That job would suck.
I got paid.
Go ahead, Troy.
XO Kobayashi, A-bomb to Activision for patenting microtransaction-based matchmaking. Fuck everything about that. It's just blatantly evil, and it's even worse than the whole loot box situation. Seen some people argue that they won't use it, so I guess that would make them a patent troll as well. Even if they don't use it, the fact that they would even consider it, much less take the time to patent it, speaks volumes. We will probably know even if they did use it, so everyone should just assume by default that if you're playing an Activision game, you're being screwed over by the matchmaking system. And that's something I thought about when we were talking about it earlier. Maybe they're not going to use it. Maybe they're just using it to patent troll EA when they do try to do it.
Good guy, patent troll.
Victor Alkaiser says, gonna have to disagree with the A-bomb from a viewer last week to Warframe's Plains of Eidolon, specifically the complaint about the Arcwing launcher. You get a whopping 50 charges when you craft it, which is a lot. It's a reusable blueprint and doesn't take a lot of materials to craft. Archwing itself in Plains is a huge buff to versatility. You can travel from one side to the other incredibly fast, and you're also able to use Archwing abilities. One Archwing can quite literally nuke a whole entire enemy camp. There should be some form of work to obtain this incredibly powerful addition. So disagreeing with the viewers. Now the viewers are infighting. Today's just been a fighting episode. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah. Marko Zikovic says, to be honest, I wasn't hyped about Bless Online at all a few years ago, but with each new news over the past year, I'm getting more and more excited for it. I just love when the developer is so passionate about its MMO. It sounds like they are trying... It sounds like they are trying really hard to make it work. Even though it looks nothing special mechanically, I don't mind those old-school tab-target MMORPGs if they are done decently. When you get at the point where I am, when you've played almost all the MMORPGs out there and are bored of them all, and just want something new and fresh to meet new people, then yeah, Bless Online excites me. Damn, this is a long post. Okay, Marco, 6 months after Bless Online releases on Steam, I want you to put another comment, and I want you to tell us what you think of it at that point. I want to know how your optimism is crushed, like something crushed by something heavy.
New and fresh. What's new and fresh? There's nothing new and fresh in this game. And have we been reading the same news for the past year? Well, didn't I literally just get to talk about how the news over the past year for Bless Online has been nothing but a train wreck of stuff ain't way it should be? Wow.
I just had to, as soon as you started reading that, I just had to put the camera on Troy. You guys are mean.
I was waiting for the /S at the end.
Somebody's
like, I was like, this has to be sarcasm,
somebody's excited
right?
about a game, and you got to rain on that parade. You guys are mean. You guys are mean. Go ahead, Troy.
You do you, Marco Zivkovic. You do you, bro. Celerado 39. A-Bomb to me ended up trying Fortnite Battle Royale despite saying I'd never play another one of Epic's products, and it was fun. Really fun, but needs more work before I play it more. I doubt I'll play it long term, though, because it stops being fun and starts getting frustrating when the moment I see another player, I am dead.
Well, I don't know if I can take you seriously now, Sailor Naruto. You doubt you'll play it, but you told me last week you weren't going to play it at all. Now you played it, and you liked it. I think you're going to play more.
Battle Royale is a fun game genre. If you can find the game that's for you, it's really fun.
Question of the week last week. 'Tis the season of MMO game holiday events. So what was your favorite ever game holiday event and why? Didn't have to be free to play. Didn't even have to be active today. It could have been every year or just once a year. We didn't care. We just wanted you to tell us about it. Elusive X Treasure. I am stunned that this was her answer. I am stunned. Shocked face. My favorite holiday event comes from Rift. I know, you're shocked. It would be the Carnival of the Ascended. Why? 3 words. Balloon popping raid. That might have been the silliest, most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in an MMO. That is, until I quested in Draumheim. Also, the sea cap ring toss and oodles of fun shinies. P.S. Why do you say ruin like that? You're being weird. Last week.
Weird. W-H-E-I-R-D.
Yeah, weird. It's weird.
Weird.
Elusive. Why are you putting so much? There's not even an H in that one. Go ahead, Jason. I love when people come with me on the references because I don't call them out. I just do it, and then viewers point it out. I love it. Go ahead, Jason.
Tikal2399 says the Rising in Final Fantasy XIV a few years ago, where they teased Red and Blue Mage. You've made good on one, Yoshi P. Where the hell is my Blue Mage?
Ooh. We can only hope. Go ahead, Troy.
Hadrick Sky's Shadow question of the week. My favorite event was in Dota 2 when they were doing it. Events, I mean. The Halloween one. 5 versus 5 players on a map that was hunted by a big monster, and the monster was after a random player. If you had enough candy, you would be alive for a few more minutes. If you had no candy, well then, sucks to be you. You were going to be the candy. But that event was only in the first year. After that, nothing.
And to finish it up, Luke Vanden Dobbleston says, first, all right, question of the week next week. We're going to be putting together a little piece for Halloween where we've kind of Frankensteined our way to an MMO. So here's what I want you guys and gals to do. And Troy, I need one of these from you too, so you might as well listen. I want you to take 2 MMO development houses, and you could use MMO liberally if you want to. Yeah, okay, Riot does League of Legends, not MMO in the traditional MMORPG sense, but certainly, yeah, go ahead. If you want to use Riot, go ahead. I don't care.
A lot of mofos playing online.
Yeah. I want you to take 2 companies and Frankenstein them together to make your game of choice. Now, this could be for any reasons you want, because you think this company is good at A and this company is good at B, and so smushing them together would make a product that had the best of A and the best of B in it. Or it could be for 2 totally different reasons, like these 2 companies are so different they'd never get anything done if you made them work together. So I want to hear the 2 companies you'd have worked together on a project. Name that company and tell me why. Put it in the comments below. Don't forget your weekly bombs. Dub bomb for something good, A bomb for something bad, and maybe it'll make next week's show. And until then, Troy, where can everybody find you?
Twitch.tv/NoobFridge. This is the last weekend of the haunt, so streams are about to go back full time. Get ready.
Oh, yeah. Jason.
You can find me on Twitter at Winter Informal, streaming at twitch.tv/JasonWinter. And I tend to do a Halloween stream as well, which is the only time of the year I usually use a webcam on my stream. And I'm going to have something a little special. So there we go.
It's not like...
Speaking of, I meant to bring something from the haunt to this week's show, and I totally forgot yesterday. I did it on Game Breaker on Twemo one year. And
do you remember what I did for Twemo and After Dark on Halloween last time?
No, I forget.
Twemo, I had my face painted like Kefka from Final Fantasy VI.
I remember that.
And then after dark, I dressed as a woman, makeup and all. Was
That I don't
full drag.
remember.
Yeah.
Any pictures?
Yeah. Yeah, so check out Jason's stream, and I don't know, maybe he'll be dressed like a woman. Who knows? I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me personally on Twitter at magicman1. While you're there, more importantly, follow at MMOBomb so that you get all the tweets for the latest news, articles, interviews. We just posted one today with Guild Wars 2 Path of Fire composer, so check that out as well. We'll tweet it right to you. You can jump to it, check out the news, and then come hang out on the cast. Until next time, stay safe. We'll see you on the servers.